What up? What up? What up, guys? Man, I can't tell you how excited I am about today. Today is going to be a super dope live. If this is your first time here, you're going to get a lot of value from this. And if you've been coming to my live streams, you already know, man, that's what we do here. We try to provide as much value to the boxing community as possible. Just had a super dope live 2 days ago on Mindset. And if you guys didn't check that out, simply go to the live stream section on the YouTube channel and check that one out, because that was a really, really good session. Got a lot of good feedback, a lot of private messages, emails, people just telling me how much it helped them. So if you guys didn't get a chance to check that out, you definitely want to. Today is going to be a little different, though. Today is going to be about my boy Victor Limas. So Victor Limas, is crazy how we met. I met him in Florida. Actually met him in person. I'm just gonna give you a short backstory on it, because I don't want to ruin it for everybody out there. But I met him at a barbershop. He's a really, really talented barber. I was actually in Florida with Tevin Farmer, who at the time was a world champion, and I was getting a haircut. And he was telling me, like, yo, I used to box and all this stuff. And, I hear that stuff all the time. I hear I used to box and I used to fight. And, I hear all these stories all the time about people who claim they fought. So, I just took it for what it was worth. Oh, word, you box? That's what's up. But then we went ahead and we exchanged information on Instagram. He started following me. I started following him. And he was always real supportive of everything I was doing, liking all my photos and commenting and, just showing love, man, showing love. So, I always made sure that I kept up with his life as well, show love as well. And, then I went ahead and one day I was doing a live stream, and he was, and he had shot me a couple messages, but he did a live stream. He said, yo, I'm about to go get your courses right now, your packages right now. As you guys know, I sell online courses. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to grab them. I'm going to start coaching my son. And, he joined the private community. And then I would just see videos of him with his son. His son is just super, super talented, super natural. So that's all I took from it. That's all I thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, I see him getting ready, training himself and stuff. And I'm like, oh, damn, dude is pretty good. You know what I mean? And next thing you know, man, make a long story short, now he's a professional fighter, but it wasn't just as easy as that. Again, he's 35 years old, y'all. I actually want to show y'all something that I just posted the other day. So I couldn't upload this directly. So I'm going to do a quick screen share. Do a quick screen share to this. All right, because I couldn't do this how I wanted to do it. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna do a quick screen share. And I was trying to upload this to this platform. For whatever reason, it wasn't uploading. So give me a second. Let me get this in here. Sorry to slow this down, y'all. If this slows down too much, I'm not even gonna waste my time with this. Feel like I'm having a little bit of a difficulty here, a little technical difficulty with this. All right, man, it don't even matter. It don't even matter what I was going to go ahead and post, because, hold on. What the hell's going on? All right, it don't even matter what I was going to post, because at the end of the day, it was as simple as somebody asking me, is 28 years old too old to become a club show fighter? And I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but I basically told him, well, he basically said, I know I'm too old to be a world champion. That's what he said. He said, I know I'm too old to be a world champion. So is 28 too old to be a club show fighter? And I said, well, the fact that you said you're not going to be a world champion, you're not going to be a world champion. But for somebody else who believes in himself is a totally different thing. You know what I mean? And a lot of people came out and started commenting, and the post just did crazy numbers. And what it showed me was, a lot of people are either in those shoes, or they just need to hear it and see the inspiration. A lot of the times in life, we don't go nowhere until we see somebody else do it. So then it just clicked to me one day. I'm like, hold on, I got a guy in my private community right now who's doing it. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I reached out to him the other day, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna reach out to Victor and see if you want to come on here and tell a story. And that's what we're gonna do, man. We're gonna talk about him, and we're gonna let him take the stage. And yes, sir, we already got him in the building, my man Victor Limas. What's up, my boy?
What's up? What's up, man?
How you doing, man? You looking slim over there, man. I can't even see you, man. You looking slim.
Yeah, I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready for my fight on August 26th.
Okay, all right, all right. Well, we're gonna be talking for a minute, man. So I don't know if you want to. You sitting down?
Yeah. I'm sitting down. Yeah.
Yeah, come a little closer, man, so the people can see you a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
All right, cool.
All right, there you go. Yeah, get comfortable, man, because we're gonna be talking for a minute, man.
All right.
All right. So, like I was telling the people, the first time I met you, you cut my hair. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I remember you telling me you was like, yeah, I'm a boxer and stuff like that. And I didn't know how serious you was about it. A lot of people say they're boxers. I'm sure you deal with it as well. Everybody's, I used to box. I did this.
Yeah.
This. I took it for what you were saying. Not that I didn't believe you, but I just didn't know how serious you took boxing in the past. And then again, I already said the story. You know what I mean? Me and you kept on keeping connected on the internet and things of that nature. But I want to hear it first from the beginning. Then I want to hear how you fell off, right? Gained the weight, and then we're gonna talk about the success story. So let's start from the top.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
boxing.
Well, most boxers, as we know, don't really have a really fortunate life, and fighting is all they know, and all they they grew up around. So that's all I knew, growing up, fighting in the streets, fighting. Growing up as a kid.
Where you from?
I'm from Lansing, Michigan.
Okay, all right.
Lansing, Michigan. So my life wasn't always easy, but I found boxing something that I could cling on to as a young man going through what I was going through, and it really helped me with my confidence, really helped me with my stuff. So I started when I was like 10 years old, 8, 10 years old, like real young. But I've always been introduced into fighting because I have my cousins my older cousins that was boxers. I just, my dad, he always liked fighting. I mean, everything fighting. So, I was on a basketball court, man, and some kids, they were always bringing these extra shoes, in the grocery bags. I'm like, man, why you guys always bringing extra shoes? Like, what are those shoes? What do you guys got? And they're like, oh, these are my boxing shoes. So I'm like, boxing shoes? I said, there's a boxing gym around here. I've always just like did it at home. Whether we were fighting outside or just cousins, we were always a family of boxing. So I finally just I followed them kids to the boxing gym, and they said I needed permission. And at the time I was living with my aunt, and man, I ran back home back to her house so fast, and I was like, there's a I screamed out loud, there's a boxing gym, you gotta sign me up for this. So ever since then, man, I started boxing, man, and then it just kept going. I kept going.
Right. So basically, what you're saying is you started real young.
Young.
When did you stop boxing? Let's get there.
I stopped boxing, man. So my mom passed away. She got murdered. And
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, sorry to take that like a dark turn, but that's
actually that dark turn says a lot about why you're the way you are. So people need to hear that. But my condolences to you.
Thank you, man. And I just like gave up on everything. It just, man, it was super hard. So man, like time went by and I started getting in trouble, started drinking young, started hanging out with the wrong people.
How old were you when your mother passed away?
I was 16, 15, 16. Yes, I was real young.
You were young, man.
And she was only 32. So she was young as well. And it just was like really crazy, man. Like that whole, I'll explain it short, but because I only say like certain people deserve to hear your life story. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody deserves it, but that was the short part of it. So I started getting in trouble, doing all this crazy stuff, and following girls, and not really paying attention to what I had going for myself within the boxing. And I fell off, man. And then my grandmother gave me the opportunity to move down to Indiana, and I just I did the best thing. I did what I knew best was to cut hair. You know, I didn't want to work for nobody else, so I just started cutting hair, my back porch. But I always had boxing with me, so I'd shadow box all the time, grocery store, stuff like that.
Can you talk about that? Let's cheer it up for a second. So
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
talk about that for a second. Can you explain to the people who don't box yet, or the people like how once you learn how to box, how it's in you like for the rest of your life? Like it's like you just a brotherhood or a gang
It's
or something, right? It's just like you can't get out no matter what you try to do, even when you're
there's
done boxing. It's still in you. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, there's no escaping it, man. You hear boxing, where's it at? You hear, you hear a bell. It's like, oh, that's the ring. That's like everything, and then you start relating everything. Once you've been into a boxing match, once you've gotten to a boxing match and actually been in the ring, you're able to relate life to them situations. When your back's against the ropes and stuff like that. So it's like it's always there when I'm going through a hard time or when I'm going through something. It's like boxing is there and it's in my head. It's like, all right, cool. What are you gonna do now? So and so I'm always shadow boxing now. I had my daughter when she was born. I always messing with my nephews. Boxing is just everything, man. Once you have a passion for it and you're in love with it, it's like it's never gonna go away. I don't care what you try to do.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. And that's why if anybody who's been following me on Instagram from day one, I've been hashtagging boxing life from like day one because it's like literally the two go together. And
Yeah,
and something that I learned from my boy Brian Callen, who's a comedian, but he's also real big in martial arts. He said
yeah,
in martial arts, they say once you master something, you understand everything. And I think you being in boxing for so long and mastering it to a degree. I mean, I don't think we ever fully master boxing, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
Floyd Mayweather, I don't think fully mastered it, right? Like we all is like a never ending thing. But once you master it to a degree, you understand life and you understand everything because you can always compare it to boxing.
Well, that goes back to what I was saying was like you can always compare boxing to life because we can never master life. We're always learning. There's always something introduced, brand new that's introduced to life, whether it's technology, whether it's a way of living, whether it's a certain thing to eat, so you're always learning, you're always progressing. And it's a never ending story, man. So you're always connected with boxing and you're never ever gonna learn everything. That's why one thing why I followed you. And I knew boxing, but once you put a cap on that, then it's over. But if you stay open-minded and you listen to other people and what they have to say about it, and their inputs, you learn a lot more, man.
Yeah, man. So all right, so we're gonna we're gonna take it to where we just left off. So you were young, you boxed, you competed. 16, unfortunately, you tragically lost your mother.
Hmm.
You then went ahead, moved to Indiana, I believe you said,
Yeah.
and you started to take cutting hair serious as a profession so you could make some money.
Hmm.
Continue the story from there.
So cutting hair to me was like something just to make a quick buck. I
And,
didn't
and,
really.
and let's not get it twisted. Like for ladies and gentlemen out there, this is like a elite barber. Like this is the kind of barber that celebrities would hire, or if not already hired, to cut their hair. Like I don't think y'all realize how talented this guy is with a pair of clippers. Like you hear people say that, yeah, he cuts hair, but I'm talking about this dude could really cut hair. You know what I mean? And I
Hey,
know that because I only get my hair cut from the best barbers, and he was recommended by one of the top
best barber.
barbers in the industry. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So just letting y'all know that this guy's not just a talented fighter who overcame a lot of stuff. This guy's actually a very talented barber for anybody who's a barber or needs a haircut, so to speak. But go ahead, continue.
All right. So I started cutting hair. I was taking it semi serious until I found out the competition side, and that's where my boxing switch flipped in. So when it started being a competition to me, that's when I started like dedicating myself to cutting hair. It's going as hard as I can. I wanted to master it. I wanted to know the ins and outs. I wanted to know, the certain types of fades and blends. So I went super, I went out the roof with it, and that gave me a sense of like it gave me it curved that craving I had with boxing. So for a long time, I just was I just took that as my competition, as my feed, But I've always had that in my head with comparing it to boxing. Met my wife, and you know how that goes. You fall in love, you have kids, and then you're eating, you're going out to eat, and it just I was still drinking in the beginning, and it just that stuff started taking a toll on me, and then I really I didn't notice it at first. You never notice when you gain weight. But then it's like when you start seeing pictures of yourself, you're like, dang, man, I cannot believe I'm that big, man. So I got into like working out, but it never was really like I never dedicated myself to the working out and the science behind it. And I think that's where a lot of people get that whole situation with losing weight confused because you got to figure out the science behind it.
Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. So how heavy did you get?
Okay, I got to 200, I think like 225, 230 pounds. That's when I was like not working out at all. Then I started like lifting weights and getting into the lifting weights. So then I went down some. I got to 200. Then I would fall off like everybody else. They start working out, see a little results. They fall off, back and forth, back and forth. And it was
How
a whole
old
nother.
are you? How old were you when you started this, yo-yo effect of going up and down with
Mm,
weight?
I said like 25, 24. Just,
Okay. So
yeah,
you're still a lot younger than what you are right now, and you were already trying to make a change. You were already working your
trying,
way
but
back into trying to make a change.
but it wasn't, it just wasn't,
Clicking. It wasn't
clicking.
clicking.
It wasn't clicking. And then and of course I worked in a barbershop. So when you work in a barbershop, there's a lot of jokes getting thrown around. And yes, I got called the fat boy. I got called you know what I'm saying? I got called all types of little names and jokes, and I was the butt of the joke about that. And then I just one day I was like, man, you know what? I'm just gonna start doing what I used to do. So I started running from one town to the other town. I run from the home to the barbershop. And I lost weight. Then I had moved to Florida and then gained the weight back. It just was like a whole bunch of stuff,
You moved to Florida. How old are you when you moved to Florida, and why did you move to Florida?
See, man, when did okay, so it was like 5 years ago I was in Florida. So it was about like 29, 30.
29, 30 years old. You
Yeah,
moved
yeah,
to
yeah.
Florida. What brought you there?
I moved to Florida because, look, man, once again, you compare it to boxing, you got to take risks. So I had no family, nobody down there, but I wanted to excel in the barber industry. I wanted to meet barbers that were on a higher level than just the neighborhood barbers. So I went out there and just started reaching out. I joined the competition first before I went out there, which was Mark's show. And I was like, man, I want to move out here. And people were calling me crazy. They're like, man, you're crazy. You're just gonna up and move. That doesn't work that way. That doesn't work that way. So I don't like when people tell me that I can't do something because I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna go as hard as I can. I mean, so um, I moved out there, and then I actually after a year out there, I joined a little boxing gym just so my son can get in there and started working out. Being in Florida, there's a lot of
So
people
you
that are,
moved down. You took your son with you, and your
oh
wife. Y'all all went there as a unit.
my whole family. I mean, we were sleeping on the floor when we first got there, man. We were sleeping on the floor, man, on top of the clothes that we brought. We had no mattress and nothing. And I look back at it now. It's like, dang, man, I really risked that and with a family. Like I'm insane. Not a lot of people would do that,
And
but
you know what though, man, that's a testament to your wife. You know what I mean, for having your back and
facts.
rolling with you through that and believing in you, because she obviously had to believe in you if she was willing to support you on that. So
Oh man, all the
big
way.
shout out to her.
Facts, facts. Big shout out to her. Big.
So okay. So now you're in Florida. You're cutting hair. You're doing your thing down there. The weight came back. How heavy did you get in Florida?
I was still around like about 200 or something.
So you
200
was in
something.
your 200s. Okay,
I was in
cool.
my 200s, but I was lifting weights. So just like anybody else would, when they go to the gym and they lift weights, they feel the pump. So when you
You're
feel the pump,
basically where I'm at right now because I'm in my 200s, but you know what I'm saying, I'm hitting the iron, but I got a stomach, right? And
yeah,
look at my
exactly.
old people who look at my old YouTube videos and they see me now, they're like, "Damn, Coach Ant, you put on some weight." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." So I know exactly where you at, and right now I'm really trying to lock in with the diet because I know you know as much as I do. A
Yeah,
lot of
man.
this is diet. You know what I
And
mean?
the only time you feel good is when you're in the gym, and then after when you hit them weights and you get, like I said, you get the pump and you feel good in the gym. But then when you go home and then you gotta wake up the next day and you put on your clothes, you feel like like, dang, did I do enough? You
Hey,
know?
hold on. Big shout out to Gregory Reed, man. Hey, Coach, I want to thank you for all the great content you produce. I also want to say thanks for producing great content for free on your YouTube videos. Thank you so much for
Facts.
saying that. And that's the goal, man. You know, I tell people all the time that my goal is to help as many people as I can through the sport of boxing, whether it's through my YouTube, through my online courses, through my private community, through my Instagram post. If you look, man, it's boxing all day, every day with me. And the reason for that is because boxing has helped me so much in my life from when I first started as a competitive boxer to turning into a coach. And it's given me a career. It's saved my life, man. Like I tell people all the time, boxing has saved more lives than it's taken. And as horrible as it is that people get hurt in this sport and people sometimes lose their lives in this sport, I can give you 100 success stories, more than 100, millions of success stories. You see what I'm saying? I can't give them all to you, but I can tell you quite a few, and I'm one of them. And you're looking at another one right here, and that's the reason why I decided to highlight Victor, because his story is super inspiring. So, okay, I met you in Florida. Now we're gonna talk about a little bit how we connected. So now I'm getting my haircut. You're telling me, blah blah blah. I'm
Mhm.
telling you, yeah, I'm here with Tevin Farmer. I remember you saying, "Word, I like Tevin Farmer.
Yeah,
I'm a
I
fan of
still like
Tevin."
it.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Tevin, man. Yo, my son, can you give me a picture for my son? Like all types of positive stuff you was saying. And then we kind of linked up, and then I kept on going lives like this, and you would come in and say a few words here and there. And then one day you was like, "Yo, Coach, I'm gonna grab your bundle and I'm gonna join the community." What made you grab the Master Boxing bundle, join the community, and just be part of what I was doing? What made you do that, considering you already had boxing experience?
you the how you communicate and how you deliver, and explain things. I really needed to learn that because I need to learn that. I needed to learn that, and I needed some different insight because, as you know, like different parts of the U.S. they fight differently. You know, Midwest, East, South, West Coast. They all have a different fighting style. So, and you explain things that to me would be a different fighting style and real technical. So I really, I'm starting my son off somewhere where I wasn't I wasn't given that that attention by my father. So I needed to hear things explained in a different way so I can deliver a message to my son in another way too. And I really really like the way you explain things. So and shoot, while I'm listening to you, I'm actually learning new stuff too. So that's where I was like, man, I gotta step it up, just like with the cutting hair, I had to step it up, and risk it. So, or I wouldn't say that was a risk, but I'm just saying I have to learn more. And, I got to be a sponge. So, learning from you is like that was just something that brought more brought more knowledge to me, so I
Well,
can give more knowledge to my son.
well, that's beautiful to hear, and also very. It just shows the kind of person you are, right? Because of a guy who's been boxing since he was 10 years old, sees another guy. A lot of the times you hear, a lot of the times guys, man, I don't need to learn nothing from nobody. I've been doing this since I was a kid. I don't need to learn from nobody. I know what the hell I'm doing. And you went ahead and you humbled yourself and said, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna invest the money. I'm gonna learn from somebody else, even though I already know what I'm doing. So it kind of just shows the kind of person you are. Like you really are success driven, and I think that's a big reason of why you were able to do the things and accomplish the things you are. Because I'm the same way. I will sit down and shut up. If you put me in a room full of boxing coaches who've been in, you know, different places. I even listen to some of the coaches who I've done more than, because I like to hear what they have to say, whether I take it or not. So, you know, I just think that being a student, always being a student in this game is how you excel at any area of this game. So that says a lot about you. So, okay, you grab the courses, you join the community, you're active in it, you post videos, you're training your son, and your son is super dope, super talented. I wish you had him. I wish we had videos of him right now. Maybe the next live stream will be about him.
Yeah.
But go ahead, talk to me.
No, so while I'm teaching my son and I'm learning it, then you know the whole COVID thing happens and everything is shut down, and then I honestly I seen a bunch of kids outside. They were always getting in trouble, fighting and stuff like that. So I changed my whole garage to a gym, and I brought all the neighborhood kids, and I would train them, and I would just ask the parents to bring me a case of water or Gatorade so they could stay hydrated in that summer, and I would train them, but I would be, you know, when they were training with me, I would be sending them your videos, like watch this video. If you didn't get it at practice, here's a little bit more detail for you, because I was only one guy training like 30, 40 kids. It was crazy.
Oh, wow,
yeah, my backyard was nuts. It just like it became big. So just me getting into the mix with all that, and then, you know, I would train before I would train them. So I would work out. I'd be hitting the bag. I'd run before they'd come over.
Well, see, that's what I wanted. Let's rewind for a second.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to get to. So you were training your son.
Okay.
With the courses. When did you just get the light bulb, like, nah, I'm doing this for me too? Like, not just my son. I got to get some of this. When did that click? When did that happen? Or was that already happening?
I think it was already happening, man. It was already happening because, you know,
before you started training your son, you was already hitting the bags again.
Yeah, because I've always trained my kids. Like my daughter, she's 13, so I was already training her when she was my son's age. You know, she didn't really get to it, cling to it like my son did at first, but it was always there. It was always there. But like when my son came, you know, when a son and father, it's like a whole like a whole different, you know, chemistry at first. So it's like I'm training him, and then I'm seeing my daughter starting to like it too, and it's like, I don't know, it just some stuff started clicking in my head, and I'm like, I cannot sit here and tell my son and tell my daughter to do something and to accomplish something that I have not accomplished, that I have not done. They are going to only go as far as what they see. So I got to be the one to set the path. I got to be their hero. I can't point to the TV and say, hey, that guy's your hero. No, man, I'm your dad. I wanted a hero, my dad, and didn't get it. I'm gonna break this chain, this cycle, and I'm gonna become the hero for my kids. I'm gonna become the inspiration for my kids, because, you know, that's what I wanted when I was growing up. So it just lit a fire in me, man. I just started going, and then, you know, when you tell people what you're gonna do, they kind of like smirk, but then you can hear, you know the laughter, the feeling behind that was just like, man, they don't know what I got. They don't know what I've been through. They don't know who I am. They don't know my character. You know what I'm saying? They only see what I put on at work. That's it. But they don't know me. So it just flipped the switch, man. And I just started going as hard as possible, man.
Okay, so you're training the kids. You're training yourself. You're still in your 200s. You're weighing around 200 something. You're still doing the thing.
Like 205 then, yeah.
205 now. You brought your weight down about. So what did you do? Let's give the people the backstory on how you got the weight off. I know a lot of people in here are probably struggling with weight, and they want to get the weight off, and they want a workout plan. They want a diet plan. They want to know what you did. Let's give it to them, free of charge. We're not even gonna charge.
Free of charge. You know what? That's the only way I'd give it to everybody.
There you go. There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Because you know what? It takes a different. What goes on? It goes back to that mindset.
Mm.
We hear it all the time, day in and day out. We have the motivational videos. We have all these people that set the standard, and like David Goggins, we have all these people that set this mindset for you. But where most people are scared to cross that line because they
Mm.
don't like to. They like to feel comfortable.
So hold on, let me stop you for a second. What you're saying is, before you can even give them this meal plan, they got to get their mind right.
Hey, the mind is everything. The mind is everything because your body is going to go through so much pain, so much being uncomfortable, sacrifices, time away from people. If you want it, your mind got to be right, and you got to be able to hold yourself accountable.
So how did you do that? Let's talk about that. Let's give
All
people,
right.
everybody, hold on. Before he talks, get your pen out, get your paper, get your notes and in your phone. We're gonna give y'all some real game. This is good. Matter of fact, where's my pen and paper, man? I'm about to take some notes too.
So look, I hear this all the time. You know, people come at me all the time and they say, "Hey, man, how'd you do it? Can you help me out? Can you help me out? Can you do this? Can you?" And I'm telling you, like, the way I grind, the way I work out, people call me crazy. They call me crazy with a laugh, but they really think I'm crazy. Like,
But
how do you
before you got to the crazy, how did you build yourself to the? How did you build? I want to step by step right
step
now.
by step? I suffer every time. I set a goal and I suffer. So if I'm running 2 miles today, I'm gonna run 2 miles for the rest of the week. But next week, I'm gonna run 3.5, and I'm gonna make sure I get through that 3.5. There's times where I set a goal to run 16 miles, and I know that for a lot of runners, that's not a lot of time. But when you starting out, it's hard. And I remember calling my wife on the phone, telling her to come pick me up. So it's all about goals first. You gotta set small goals, because if you can't execute these small goals, you're not gonna be able to build these stairs to your ultimate goal. You know, that's the way I look at it. I look at it as a stair. So I gotta lay down these stairs, and these stairs are small goals. Whether it's running, whether it's consuming more water, taking more time to study about the body, about how it works. It's it's not just about the working out and the food eating. It's about the science too.
Right. So
So
you would. So give me a typical day for you. Like get. Let's like try your best to remember the beginning of
okay,
the real journey. Try your best to bring yourself back. Because it's easy to talk about where you at now, right?
okay, yeah, very.
But we got to remember where you started. Because as most people in here are probably just starting in this situation.
Okay, so
How
first
did
things
you get
first.
yourself going? How did you get
First things first. I started in the summer of COVID. So you know, I order a scuba diving suit, and I order a sauna suit, and I order my my vitamins, whatever. So I get up in the morning. I put my sweet sweat on,
what time? What time? We want to know what time you wake.
early as possible, because I had to be back for the kids. So I had to get up at like 6:30, 6 o'clock. I like to get there. I like to get outside when it's heat, when it's hot outside. I don't like that cool breeze. I don't like that. Oh, it's nice and breezy outside. Oh, look at this. It feels good and nice and cool. No, I want it to be hot because I want to drag myself through hell when I'm going through my workout. So I wait till it's nice and warm, just enough time for me to go on my run, work out, come back, and be back for the people that are going to be in my backyard working out. So I get up in the morning, I put my 2 suits on with sweet sweat cream, drink some water, take some water with me, and I start my run. And I would just push myself. When I run, I just push myself as farthest I can go. And I downloaded an app called Runkeeper. So when you put the app on, it tells you, and as you're running, 10 minutes, this much time, this many this much, it tells you that. So I would just do that every day. Every day. I just wake up, do it every day. Go in my backyard. I put on Insanity. I would do the Insanity DVDs. I would do calisthenics like crazy.
So you got away from the weight training.
Got way from weight training. Everybody thinks that you need weights to lose weight. You you can lose weight using weights, but you're just giving yourself more time just to be comfortable and sit down and relax in between sets. Now, when you're doing HIIT workouts and when you're running and you're putting yourself through this suffering, your body's like, okay, now I gotta keep up with this dude, man, because this dude's tripping, man. He's going 10 miles. I gotta be able to put on this protection system and make sure that, okay, this muscle's here and this legs are right, to keep me moving. So your body's going to transform on its own. It's going to do what it does on its own. Now, that time, I didn't really take in consideration my food intake and how I should be eating. And
What were you eating then?
man, I still be eating, my pizza and stuff like that. Pizza.
Even when you were losing weight?
Even when I was losing weight, I wouldn't. There'd be days I'd just binge. I'd go crazy, but I'd get on the scale every day, twice a day. Ask my wife. I even probably get on the scale 4 times a day. But I always hold myself accountable, because if I eat like crap, you're gonna learn your body's weight fluctuation. You're gonna learn that. It's a science behind that. So when you see yourself getting on the scale and you're like, dang man, I was just down 10 pounds the other day, and then today I'm up 15. It's like, man, I can't do what I did yesterday. I gotta make sure I stay on track. So it's all about being able to hold yourself accountable too. So make sure, a lot of coaches say they don't want you on the scale, but I say for me, being on the scale every day, the scale is my friend. So
Okay. So you were getting the weight down. How long did you think it took you overall to get the weight from, 200 plus to what are you fighting at?
right now I'm fighting at 135.
You're fighting at 135. So what do you walk around at?
Right now I walked this morning I was 144.6.
Okay, so how long do you think it took you to get from 200 to your walking around weight of 240, 250, wherever, I mean 140, 150, wherever you're at?
Man, it's been 3 years.
It's been 3 years. Now, when did you first see that number on the scale though?
My first fight in November of last year.
Okay, so it would say, so you're gonna say the 50 pounds took about 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
so
that's because it was a learning process for me. I had some friends that were gym coaches and stuff like that, but the science behind it is doing it yourself. You know what I mean? To me, I learned everything myself, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning new ways to bring the body healthier and stuff like that. So, and I'm not perfect, man. I'll have some wings. I'll have something, but I hold myself accountable. So.
right. Okay, so when did fighting again cross your mind? Because it's one thing to hit the gym, run the miles, get the weight down. It's another thing to say, nah, I'm gonna fight, like for real, for real.
So this is crazy. So I'm hitting the bag, and Robert Garcia, the coach in Oxnard, he accepted my friend request on Facebook. I'm like, oh my God. To me, to me, that's big. You know what I mean? I mean, one thing to get a follow on Instagram, but to somebody accept your friend request on Facebook, to me, is like, that's personal. So I didn't know if he took it that way. I took it that way. I sent him a video of me hitting the bag, and it was kind of like, you can keep your hands up a little bit more on the bag. He was being nice, but he let me know that, nah. And I didn't like that. So I started training harder and harder. And then I came across Manasa, which is my coach, one of my coaches that you know.
Yeah, he actually invested in my courses as well.
Yeah. So
he's your actual coach.
He's the actual coach. Yes, I have two coaches.
I thought he was just holding the mitts for you and stuff like that. I didn't know he was actually coaching.
No. Yeah, he was in my corner. My last both.
Right. A big shout out to him.
Coach too.
Yeah, big shout out to him. I see him grow, man. He came a long way.
Long way, man. And we both had. So and that was for both of us working together. So we hit in the midst.
I love the fact that I'm part of this indirectly. I don't think you understand, because how you say his name? Manasa. Big shout out to Manasa. Coach Manasa would hit me up on Instagram And he would ask me for advice, especially with the mitts. And he inquired with my courses. I even did a during COVID a session with him, and it's on my YouTube channel. He was actually
Yeah,
getting the bags and working out. So
I remember.
now I'm finding out. Well, I knew he was involved with you, but now I'm finding out he's your head trainer in this journey. So indirectly, I'm coaching these guys as well. It's dope. It's super dope.
Yeah,
Now,
you can always learn.
yo, it's fire. So my question to you is this: you went ahead and started working with him after the Robert Garcia comment. How
But
do you
see,
feel about Robert
I found
Garcia right
him.
now? Like, do you have animosity, secret animosity toward him, or in your mind you're like, thank
No, no, man. Heck no, man. Them guys out there are pretty cool, man. I mean, I like their the movement, how they keep, dude. Their gym is
so
amazing.
do you appreciate him giving you that criticism?
I appreciate him just even hitting me back up. That was to me at the time was just amazing to me because I didn't think that was even possible for me to communicate with people such as you on a level like that. So
Because I think a lot of people uh need that. Like, a lot of the times, you want a trainer to tell you the good, but when a trainer tells you the bad, uh the trainer typically has good intentions for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And like I got a kid who just signed up to my 2.0 program, super super motivated. And he's super like, man, I'm gonna win the nationals, this, that, and the third. And I reviewed his videos, and even though he has great potential, I've seen a lot of things that he can improve on.
yeah,
And when I gave him back the feedback, I'm sure it's not necessarily what he wanted. I'm sure he wanted me to be like, yo, man, thank you. I mean, yeah, man, you look great, man. You're gonna be the
oh man,
champion.
you need
Instead,
that
I
type.
was like, nope, you ain't doing this enough. You ain't doing that enough. Yo, we're gonna have to fix that. And I know in his mind, he's probably like, yo, I thought I was good. But the
No,
thing is,
see,
he is good. It's just
you,
that I know he could be better. You feel what I'm saying?
yeah. A lot of people they don't like to hear the bad. They always want to hear the good, man. And that's what holds a lot of people back, even if it's just cutting weight or losing weight. That's what holds everybody back. You know, just like David Goggins said, he goes, everybody wants to hear, oh man, I don't feel like going to the gym today. They want to hear their friends say, oh yeah, man, you should just take a break. We should go eat a piece of pizza or we'll go drink some beers or something. They don't never want to hear. They don't ever want to hear, man. Shut up, you ain't tired. Get yourself to the gym and handle your business and do what you got to do. You know, because you're gonna have to do it again tomorrow. So I mean, that's just what people like that. They want to feel. A lot of people, most people want to feel comfortable, and it's not comfortable. It's not a comfortable thing.
That's a fact. All right, so now you hooked up with Manasa. You guys are just making magic.
Okay, so I hooked up with Manasa because he wanted to lose weight. So
uh,
he came to my backyard, and I had this fitness coach at Anytime Fitness, trying to stay in boxing, get in boxing shape too. So I'm working out. I'm not just doing a kids class. I'm doing adult class now too. So I got adults coming to my garage after the kids. So Manasa's there. He's working out. Made him throw up a couple times, and but he started working the mitts with me, man. I was like, dang, this is cool. And then we would throw it out there, jokes like, man, what if I just came and I started fighting again. And so that conversation started leaking into the mix. Oh, okay. So we kept training, and then we went to an actual. We actually transferred over to an actual boxing gym in the area, and which led us to linking up to my other head coach, Mark Cheers. And from then on, we just
hold on. Say that last part. So you have another coach,
have another coach. His name is Mark Cheers.
and then Mark Cheers. Is he your head trainer?
Yes, one of the
Okay,
head
so Mark
trainers,
Cheers
like
is your head trainer. Okay, so you got Mark Cheers and you got
Mark
Manasa
Cheers.
helping you as well as an assistant coach.
Yes, he's a yeah. So and we really gravitated towards Coach Cheers because the same way the way he explains things, and he gets his knowledge and brings it across. He's a very experienced coach. He's head coach for Mary McGee. He's coach for Alex Martin, signed the Golden Boy. So things like that, like we gravitated towards him, and his energy meant a lot to us. So me and Manasa started working with him, and then we started meeting up outside the boxing gym, in boxing gym, in a fitness gym. He started running me through drills and telling me certain things and telling Manasa to do certain things with me, and we just started. It's like all teamwork, you know. Started running through teamwork, so it's just like the bond we have is like
But
it's
it's
very.
super dope. It's super dope because what you did was, you know, you're creating something and you're potentially helping somebody. I mean, you are helping somebody else, like somebody like Manasa who came to you to lose weight and also like boxing, but now he's coaching a professional fighter, which in turn is going to lead him to other opportunities with other professional fighters in years to come. So, you know, you're creating something for people, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, this dream that started off as a dream can turn into something big as long as you keep the momentum going and as long as you keep on going. And of course, I know you have plans to continue to win. And I seen you commented on my post when I said about the you know the world champion thing. I seen your comment. You said I'm gonna do it. So I
I
think
am.
it's okay. So you're gonna do it. So I think it would be foolish to doubt this man, ladies and gentlemen. I think he's proven that he can overcome a lot of things. Tell me about your plan to become a world champion. What weight? 135 pounds.
I've
You're
said
2-0. You're 2-0. So you got a long way to go
I
before
got a
you
long way to go.
title. You got a long by the time you get to a world title, you might be 40 years old, maybe
So
37, 38, depends on how fast they can move you. But
I'm not. I'm not
what's your
staying at
plan?
135. I'm not staying at 135 for these next two fights. I'm staying at 135 for my next two fights, but I'm gravitating towards 126.
Wow, so you're looking to go lower.
Yeah, only because my body, I still have some body fat, so I know my body can lose weight, more weight. So, in my discipline, in seeing where the knowledge that I'm getting on how to bring my body down and how to adapt, I'm learning more about that too. So I know it's possible. Um, and I've lost 15 pounds in one day, damn near. You know, because every people don't know the difference between fat and water weight. And when you get older, your body starts holding on a little bit more water weight. So if you learn how to control the water weight, you'll learn how to control the body fat and so on. So I
Okay,
know
so you
126,
want so where do you want to win a world title at? 126.
126.
Okay,
I
you want
will. I will.
okay. When
Ain't no one.
what's your timeline?
My timeline, I gave myself 6 years.
You're giving yourself 6 years from this moment. So we definitely have to you know, this is going on YouTube. So in 6 years, we're gonna come back to this when you got that world title. You see what I'm saying? And we're
We're
gonna
gonna
talk
see
about
it.
this. We have to 100%. Now, you're giving yourself 6 years. Now, okay, for those people out there, who hear that, and for those people who doubt that, right? Can you talk a little bit about just having a long term, because 6 years is a long time from today, right? At the end of the day, it's not a long time, but it's a long time, right? Most people aren't willing to have a 5 year goal or a 6 year goal. How do you keep yourself focused and disciplined and motivated for a goal that you know is potentially 6 years away?
Um, my weight loss took me 3 years. So within that 3 years, I learned a lot of patience. And when you have patience, I mean that's everything. And you have see a lot of people they kind of get stressed out in situations. You can't get stressed out, man. You just gotta keep doing what you're doing because if you keep doing what you're doing, that's I mean, it's just like a car, man. You got it in drive. The only way it's gonna stop is if you put on the brakes. If you put on the brakes. If you put on the brakes. That's the only way it's gonna stop.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good for people to hear because, you know, I hear people all the time who they want to fast track their goals. You know, this is like a microwave society. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, most definitely.
Everybody wants everything overnight. You know, people ask me a lot of the times, you know, how did you get, you know, to work so many world title corners at such a young age and stuff like that. And but they don't really realize I've been doing this for over 20 years. Like, you know, even though I seem young to some people, you know, at the end of the day, this wasn't an overnight gig. I grinded my ass off to get to where I am. And a lot of people may see you and think like, oh yeah, well he did that. That was kind of like luck or
And
overnight.
to no disrespect to any of the fighters out there that's grinding right now. You know, I don't want to say I'm, you know, I deserve it more than them, but at the same time, like I said, man, don't a lot of people don't know me. They don't
But
really know me. They don't know what I got here. I cannot explain to anybody on anything. It's like it's something else.
well, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they did. This is a sport where, you know, you got to take what you want, you know, and at the end of the day, you know, as vicious as that sounds, that's really what it is. You can't have compassion for the people that are working harder. You're working a lot harder than me, so I don't deserve to take your title. Like there'll never be any new world champions if everybody thought like that. So you definitely have to have that in you, man. And I'm glad to see that you do. And I support you 100% in your journey.
Thank you.
So when is your next fight? So and you know, so people could kind of see, you know, keep up with that part. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
so my next fight is at the end of this month, August 26th. Um, so I'm getting ready for that right now.
Are any of these fights televised yet or streamed or anything?
Not yet, not yet. I'm in the building process. You know, a lot of people and you as a coach know and understand what it takes in the building process of building a fighter up. So we take in now this third fight. We're gonna take another level up, and we were supposed to take this past fight. I wanted to take somebody from Texas, but he ended up backing out. So
Where's the fight gonna be? Mario wants to know.
this fight is gonna be in Cicero, Illinois, at the Cicero Stadium.
Okay, all right, cool, man. So definitely, definitely gonna be keeping up with you on that, man. Man, what a
It,
story you got, bro.
there's so much more that I can explain.
Well, you
I
know,
just want,
I mean, listen, man. I think that's great. I think that brings for a part two to this.
yeah.
So I think that we could definitely continue to do this as you continue to fight and continue to win your fights. You can come
Mhm.
on here and talk about it, man. I want to shed as much light on you as I possibly can. Um, so
There was a guy that asked about how I went about and lost the weight, and just want to put a quick tip out there, like for anybody, really learn your body. You need to understand the inside first. The your you know. So if you want to lose weight, it starts from the inside first. So you want to make sure that you're doing everything to keep your liver clean. Your liver is your filtration system. If your liver is not clean and you're constantly drinking alcohol and greasy foods and stuff like that, your filtration system is not gonna absorb as much nutrition as your body needs. And once you learn about that, it's a domino effect because everything else falls in place right after that. So if you start learning about your liver and what you should be eating to clean that out and your lungs and keeping your oxygen level, at clean, then you'll be good to go. Your diet is going to take more of effect for you.
man, that's dope, man. I think that might went over some people's heads, but for those of you guys who are taking notes, hopefully you guys are listening to this man. This man lost over 100 pounds. He's 35 years old, for the record. For those guys out here who are coming in late, or for people who aren't watching this live, he's 35 years old. And he is 2-0, about to be 3-0, and he will be a world champion within the next 5 years, God willing. So listen, champ, super inspiring story. Tell the people how they could follow you. Give your social media stuff. I'm sure a lot of people in here and people watching this later are gonna want to know how they can keep up with your story.
You can follow me on Instagram at Limas Limas_Victor Victor, and that's my boxing page.
Okay, man. Listen, there he is, man. The man, Limas, man. And what can you tell people, for anybody who's on the fence about the courses that I sell, the community that I have? What are some final words you could say about that for somebody who's been part of it for so long?
Invest, man. That's what I can say. It's an investment, a self-investment. We constantly invest into these businesses. We invest into these Nike. We invest to all these other companies and stuff like that. But you don't you but you're not investing into yourself. And I say, if you're taking boxing serious, if you want to learn boxing, Coach Anthony is, and it will be that guy to go to. So if you want to know anything detail wise, man, you got to invest on the bundles. Detail.
Yeah.
Because on them short clips on YouTube, they're good, but it gets even better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It gets even better.
listen, I ain't have to pay him to say that. But listen,
Oh, you
Vic,
did.
man, thank you so much, man, for coming on here, letting people hear your story. Make sure you guys follow him, Limas_Victor on Instagram. I tagged him on my stories for those of you guys who follow me on Instagram.
Yo,
You guys can go ahead and check that. And I will be bringing you more. I will be bringing you on here more to keep up with you. I think you would be a very good regular face for the channel. I think people would love to hear more about your success stories and inspiration. And you know what I mean? You're living it, man, at the end of the day.
hey, man, I just want to give a shout out to my coaches. Shout out to you, Mark Cheers, Manasa. Love you guys. Black Label Cup Parlor, the barbershop I work at. I appreciate everybody that's supporting me, my wife, my kids, my family. And it's been a blessing for you to even call me to even do this, man. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to being on here many more of the time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Victor, man. I appreciate you, my brother.
For sure, bro.
Later, man. My boy, Victor Lima. Listen, if that wasn't a dope story, I don't know what was, ladies and gentlemen, man. Super inspiring. I'm super honored, for the record, super honored that a guy with that kind of resilience, with that kind of hunger, is humble enough to come on my platform, tell the people that he purchased my courses, join my community, you know, interact. You feel me? And continue to stay disciplined and set an example for his family, set an example for the people who are watching him, his co-workers, his coaches. I mean, at the end of the day, our job as people is to try to do the best that we can so people around us can rise and uplift. I mean, all of us have a history. You know what I'm saying? All of us have a history. You know what I mean? A lot of us, you know, a lot of people went to jail. A lot of people, you know, used to do drugs, used to drink alcohol. Maybe they still do. Maybe you got vices like, you know, you eat poorly, or you know, whatever your vices are. You gamble. There's all types of things that people go through, and people, once they associate themselves with those particular things, they almost act as if there's no way to get out of that, right? But Victor, a guy who was, you know, lost his mother at 16 years old, man. I didn't know that till today. Lost his mother, got murdered, man, at 16 years old. I have a friend of mine whose mother passed away, unfortunately, years ago, and I've seen how traumatic that was to him. And this young man at 16 years old has to know that his mother just got murdered. He went through, obviously, a dark time, got himself out of that, and now is living his dream. 2-0 as a professional at 35 years old, and there is no signs of him slowing down. Super, super, super dope, super inspiring, man.
It's 22
so you guys
hours.
definitely need to follow him, guys. And this is what I'm looking to do, y'all. I'm looking to have more people like that join my community. I'm looking for more success stories like that. For a long time, I've been doing YouTube videos and courses, and people always send me messages, man. But now I want to highlight them. So I want people who, I want everybody to experience how beautiful boxing is. Boxing is a beautiful sport. It saves more lives than it takes. All right. And if I could be the person to help you on that journey, I hope I can. Make sure you guys go to the website, CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. The Master Boxing Bundles, 90% off, automatic enrollment to the CA Boxing University. Okay, that's the private community. If you grab any of my courses, you're automatically getting enrolled to that. Okay, and I also got the Coach Anthony 2.0 program where I'm actually working with you side by side. I've been signing people up all week. I'm giving people custom plans, meal plans, um, uh, critiquing your videos, giving you guys, dealing with you on a regular basis where you guys can message me on a daily, ask me any questions you have. If something's not clicking, you have access to all my courses. And in order to enroll into that, you actually got to get on a coaching call with me. You have to speak to me. We have to see how I can help you, because if I can't help you, I won't even take you on. I only want people who I can help, people who are serious about this, people who are willing to invest into this. So if that's something that interests you, go to the website, coachanthonyboxing.com, and go to where it says book a consultation call if you want to work with me side by side. If not, you can always grab any one of my courses or the Master Boxing Bundle right now, which is 90% off. I want to say thank you to everybody who pulled up in here, man. I think today was a super, super dope live. I think it just shows you what's possible if you sacrifice, dedicate yourself, invest into yourself, put the ego down, you know what I'm saying? Get to work, man. All right, y'all. So with that being said, y'all already know. Boxing life.